Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to another Alex Does GIS tutorial. And in today's tutorial, we are going to be looking at how to add labels in QGIS. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. So as you can see over here, I've got a beautiful picture of South America, the shapefile. And right at the bottom over here is Patagonia somewhere. And two of my friends are actually going on a hike there at the end of the year. Very lucky buggers. But yeah, let's get into the serious business. So today we are adding labels in QGIS. Very, very important when communicating something spatially with a client. So what you want to do is basically, now I've loaded this map of South America. So it already has an attribute table. So if I open this attribute table, I can see that it's got some values over here. And obviously this is, basically all the different values. And we are looking at the country of South America, the continent, should I say, of South America. And what you do for labels is you right click on your layer, click features. Then you can see in the layer properties tab, there is a little yellow checker over here with A, B, and C, which is labels, which is your control feature labeling. You simply click on your layer first, right click, then you go properties, and then labeling. You can see over here, there are 4 different categories. There is no labels, single labels, rule-based labeling, and blocking. And what these do are very simple. I will explain them to you briefly. We will just look at single labeling. But in no labels, as you can see on the screen, nothing will be displayed. The features, points, lines, and polygons won't have any text labels. Then for single labels, basically, this is where each feature will get one label, and it's usually based on an attribute you choose. For example, a town's name or a country's name. This is the most common and straightforward option. Then the third option is rule-based labeling, and this basically lets you set up conditions or rules to decide when and how labels should appear. For example, you can have a label where only towns with a population less than 1,000 people is, let's just say, it's called small town. And you can basically set it up for different styles and different land use types as well. Then the last one is blocking. And the blocking drop-down is used to stop labels from overlapping certain features. For example, you can block labels from appearing inside a lake polygon so the map stays clear and readable. But for today's simple tutorial, we are going to be looking at single labels. So now, as you can see, as I mentioned, that single labels, basically, it allows you to label based on an attribute that you choose. And you can see in the attribute table I showed you earlier, we have different attributes. So you can see over here that there are many different attributes, and the one I want to use is name, because it's the name of all of the countries in the continent. Then over here, you can see that we have this little panel over here. And each of these are quite important depending on what you want to do. Some of them aren't really that necessary, but I will explain them to you very simply so that you know what each of them do. So text over here is the one that we're going to use, and this is the actual label text, and it's usually taken from the attribute table, which I've shown you. In this case, my value is name. So we can see over here, you can change your font style, size, color, opacity, and I am very happy with this, so I'm going to say apply. Then there is formatting over here. I won't change anything over here, but this basically controls how your text looks. Your font size, your color, bold, italic, etc. Much like text does as well. Then there is buffer, which we will use. All you have to do to activate buffer is simply check the box, and basically this shows you that the buffer outline will be 1 millimeter big. You can also change this metric over here. I'm going to keep it millimeters for now. And basically this adds an outline which is like a halo around the label text to make it stand out against the map. Then we have mask, which I won't do, but it basically lets you hide out, or can I say cut out, underlying map features so that the text is easier to read. Very important. Then we have background, which is what it is. You can add a shape like a rectangle or a circle behind the text for emphasis. Then there's shadow, which adds a drop shadow effect to the text for better visibility if need be. Then we have callouts as well, and basically this draws a line from the label to the feature it belongs to. So it's very useful when labels are placed away from features. Then we have the placement option, which decides where the label will be placed in relation to the feature that we are dealing with, like above, inside, onset, etc. Then the last one is rendering, and rendering basically controls how labels are drawn, including priority, scale limits, and whether labels can overlap. So yeah, very important. As for now, also very important, which I always ensure when we are labeling, is this mode over here, to never overlap. So this means that the labels will never overlap with each other, so they'll always be able to read. Once you're happy with what you've changed, you simply click apply and OK, voila, and you have your labels. And that is how to label in QGIS. If you have any questions or any tutorials you'd like me to do, please don't feel scared to like and comment. Have a good day.